Hi everyone, this is part 2 of our neck series. So we talked about some things about your neck. So as I said before, if you have any sort of trauma, okay, you've had a car accident, you've got a really bad pain in your neck, it is not improving, see a medical professional. Um, First of all, when you have any sort of neck pain, whether it's just from I woke up and you've got a sore neck, one of the things you might want to think about in that regard is that it's often about our sleep. Okay, having a bad sleep is not necessarily the position that you were in. It might be that you were in a position too long, or that you moved around. You had a really you weren't rested basically, and not having a good deep sleep can cause that. It can be from stress. There are all sorts of reasons why you get neck pain in that regard. So cleaning up your sleep hygiene may help. And then I'm just going to go through a little some techniques about massaging, things that you can do at home to add to that mobility to try and get it to feel a little bit better. It may not necessarily do an overall improving or fixing, okay, especially if you have some sort of strain, but it will help make it feel better, like we do with heat packs. And going and have a massage and those sorts of things. So the first one obviously is just getting that mobility through our neck. So it's just a matter of doing those side bends and bits and pieces with your neck. So you might just do those side looking over your shoulder, and then the other side. Whatever you do, you are moving slowly, you're doing a few reps, then you might do the up and down. And you may find if you've got a really sore neck, your movements might be really small. Okay, and the idea is that slowly after time you might get a little bit more range. So just playing around with your range and just trying to push it, not hard to begin with, because when things are acute you don't want to inflame it. So those over your shoulder, up and down, then you might bring your ear to your shoulder. You might look down at a diagonal. You might look up at a diagonal. You might do some circles. And that also depends. I know if I have a lot of neck pain, I quite often get headaches, I get a bit dizzy, those sorts of things. Circles don't always work well for me, so you just do what you want to do. The next thing I would probably do if I was doing this and trying to get some range, and massaging, I would use a little ball, okay, just for that massage side of things. Instead of going to see someone, if I want to, I'll get a ball. I'll just run it up and down where it is sore. If there's a really big knot, I go around that knot. Okay, I don't go over the knot because it's tender. Okay, so it's a matter of working out what feels good. You might, as I said, go up and down. You might go round and round. You might press in and out. The beauty of using a ball, it's small. Okay, this is just a $2 Kmart one. Okay, or you can get them all over. You can get spiky ones, you get firmer ones. You can use a tennis ball. Okay, so the good thing is that you can put in as much or as little tension as you want, pressure onto that spot. You can work front, you can work back, you can work side. You can really get into getting more into that shoulder blade, in around your shoulders and into the back. You can massage and put some pressure into a wall and get that bit at the top bit of your neck, because remember, sometimes it's not so much your neck, it's getting into your shoulders, your chest and your back that can help with neck pain. So they're all interrelated sometimes. So using a ball is my next thing that I might do. Okay, then what I would do is I would have a squishy kids ball. This is a yoga ball, a Pilates ball, cheer balls. They've got lots of different names, different sizes, or you can just have a thick cushion. Okay, what you do is you put your cushion just at the base of your spine, your head, where your neck joins your head. Okay, you lie on your circle, on your cushion, and you have your nose pointing up to the sky, like you've got a pencil on your nose. Okay, again, you change the range that you can go depending on how this is feeling, and the idea is to slowly get more, maybe do a few different reps, different sets throughout the day. Okay, I find this really quite relaxing, and it helps with getting that head to move a little bit more. So literally, if I was doing this, I would have my ball just behind my head. resting on there or a cushion, my nose is coming up to the sky, so I just move it slightly. Pressure is on that base of my head. And then I just do that moving. So I'm just moving from side to side. I'm drawing a line across the ceiling. Maybe do that 3 to 5 times. Then I would do a nod. So I'm drawing a line straight through the middle. And then I would do circles again. I find this a little bit better than the ones when I'm sitting upright, because circles don't always work for me sitting up, but I find this a little bit more relaxing, and I can get a little bit more range without making myself feel sick like I do sometimes when I'm dizzy with neck pain. Okay, so this may be one for you. So you're just trying to draw your cross on the roof, and then you're trying to do a big circle around it, and again going into a couple of different circles in each direction. So again, that's more about mobility. Once you have done some mobility, you want to start adding some strength to that. Okay, so for me, I have tools. So I have bands, I have circles. Okay, you can start off with just using your hand. Okay, so it's the same sort of turning of your neck, but this time you're going to use your hand for a little bit of pressure. So if I'm bringing my head down, I'm going to have my hand over, and I'm just going to pull a little bit more to get a little bit more strain through, and just hold there in that position, and then come back up. And you can do that in all directions. Side, you can do the same as you're going backwards. You can push down on your forehead. You can come chin to chest and push down on your back of your head. Okay, so that's adding a little bit more strength. Okay, so it's just pushing that little bit more. And again, you go with how your body is feeling. If you don't like it, don't do it, and wait for a while, and maybe just do the mobility for a bit longer before you add your hand. The next thing, if you want to, you can do the same sort of things with your band, with your circle. So you're just using these props to add to the strength that you might get. Okay, the tension sort of goes around, and just pull, okay, in the same direction as what you're moving. Then you do a thing where you are adding holding. Holding can actually help strengthen your muscles. Remember, you've got lots of muscles around your neck. Okay, you are not going to break. They are very, very strong. And the reason you may have some neck pain through exercise and things is that they are weak. Okay, we spend a lot of time hunched over. Some muscles are on for more than others. They take over from each other. Shoulders take over. We need to be working on this. Okay, so by holding, instead of pushing in the same direction as your stretch, you're going to do a push-pull. So again, you can have your hand, you can use the props like I had before, but what you do is your hand might start on your forehead. You're pushing your hand into your forehead, and you're pushing your forehead into your hand. So you're doing that push-pull. Same on your side. You push your head into your hand, and then you push your hand into your head, and you're getting a strain. You can feel it going through your muscles depending on which side you're doing it. So again, reps, you hold. You might only start your hold for a count of a couple, and then you're going to add that hold. Those holds are important. They help strengthen those muscles, okay? So they're the starting point. We have mobility first, then we add a little bit of strength using our hands or some of those props. First of all, in the same direction as the way we're moving, and then in the opposite. So we're doing that push-pull to add some isometric holds to help strengthen our muscles. I hope you found that helpful. As I said before, if your pain persists, see a medical professional. These exercises are firstly for helping to get some range, to help it feel a little bit better, and then to start adding a little bit of strength, so then hopefully you don't get a sore neck quite as much. So I hope that you found that interesting for our second part. The third part, I'm just going to add a little bit more strength, doing something slightly different that you can do at home without any extra bits and pieces. So I'll hopefully see you in part 3. Bye.